Welcome to this quick segment of 5 Minutes with KeRusso. We're going to look at Ruth, going to highlight some things for you. Mainly, I'm going to give you some tools for you to spend a lot more time in, and you will find it exciting. But we only have 2 or 3 more videos. Then we're moving into another journey as we look at following Jesus and how he describes that. But let me give you some things here to look at in Ruth chapter 3. First of all, when you start in chapter 3, what begins to unfold is a guardian redeemer process that was built into the nation of Israel. It's how the society would take care of the widows in their midst. You know, we have in the United States, we have welfare, we have Social Security, we have different things in place to take care of those who financially can't take care of themselves. Well, in Israel, they had the guardian redeemer. And the guardian redeemer is basically would take a widow that he's related to. He'd be the closest relative, male relative. He would marry her. She would become his wife. He would provide sexual relations so that she could have her own child and hopefully a son to carry on the family name. And property would continue in that family and pass on from one generation to the next. So it's a way of taking care of the women who have been widowed. And both Naomi and Ruth need that. Naomi wants to pass on her family property to Ruth, but she needs a husband. Ruth needs a husband in order to do that. Boaz is the redeemer that she's going to appeal to. Now, how she does that, in verse 3, she basically starts the redeeming process by saying, okay, you've got to put yourself out there and let Boaz know that you're ready to be redeemed. You can't be somebody in mourning. So she tells her to wash, clean up, put on your best perfume and some nice clothes, and then go see Boaz. And she goes to see Boaz at nighttime where he's at, not because she's interested in sexual relations, as some commentators want to look at this. In fact, that's not who she is, nor who Boaz is. If you look in chapter 3 in verse 11, Ruth is described as somebody everybody knows as being a noble character. And then that's significant in that she's a foreigner, that people have noticed her. And as Ruth has said, foreigners are unrecognized. Nobody takes notice of foreigners, but they've taken notice of Ruth because of her noble character. And that noble character in Hebrew is the same description that is used of Boaz in chapter 2 and verse 1. Dig into that. See what you get out of that. But she goes there to start this redeemer process. And when she lays down next to Boaz at nighttime, nobody knows that she's there, not even Boaz. And she puts the corner of his blanket over her, the corner of his garment over her. Now, he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's like, startled. Who's here? And she describes herself as your servant, verse 9, spread the corner of your garment over me, since you are a guardian redeemer of our family. Now, here's what's going on with this. This is really cool. Spreading the corner of your garment is used in Ezekiel chapter 16 of God spreading the corner of his garment over Israel to take them in as his wife. They were destitute, they were homeless, they were a child abandoned on the street, and he's going to love them and protect them and give them refuge and bless them and give them a life. Okay? Same language. And this is what Ruth is calling on Boaz to do. The garment also can be translated wing. And if you go back to chapter 2, Boaz says to Ruth, you've come to the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wing you have found refuge. This idea of refuge, and that's what she's saying to Boaz. I'm ready for you to redeem me, for you to be my refuge. You're going to be the one that God will use to take care of us. Now, I also think something interesting is connected with the thought line is connected with something Jesus said. In Matthew 23, he said to the people of Israel of Jerusalem, he said, "Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, how I've longed to gather your children to me like a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, but you were not willing." Again, this idea of coming under the wings of protection and blessing. Redemption. That's what's happening here. And Jesus was acting on that, just like Boaz is going to act very quickly on it. He acts living up to his name, strength and swiftness. And he's going to go right into town to take care of this matter, to take care of Ruth. And Jesus has really reached out to us. But to be redeemed, you have to be willing to be redeemed. Like Ruth was willing to go to Boaz. Are you and I willing to go to Jesus for our redemption? We're just as much in need of it as she was. Give that some thought. Leave comments if you want, or send an email if you like at booksbykerusso@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time.